I see. An interesting example is the Galapagos tortoises, because those tortoises came from the shores. I think is it off of South America? Yeah. So out off of South American shores, tortoises would be swept away into the water, and since tortoises can hold their breath for a long time, a lot of them would survive and they would float to the island. Now, these tortoises, because they're in a different environment, they would evolve to different ways, because multiple tortoises would be on the same island by chance. They would be floated, swept away, and the ones that landed there would interbreed, and they would live together, and they would have their own gene pool separate from the ones on the shore. Now, because it's a rare event that the tortoises are swept away by the water, you don't have intermingling gene pools, which is why the Galapagos tortoises are so different from the ones on the shore. The Galapagos tortoises will even evolve to different types of tortoises on different islands. There will be one on one island where it will be designed with a low shell so that it can feed on the grass, because the island will be wet. It will have more grass. But a different island with cactuses or taller plants or something will have what cacti will have taller plants that the tortoises will need high shells to be able to reach, so they can reach their neck up and get the fruit or the cactus from the plant, or the plant is the cactus in that case. But you can see that tortoises, any sort of animal, will evolve, will adapt to its environment based on the best way to survive. Now, they don't do this in a conscious way. This is by natural selection and by mutations in the genes, in the gene pool. And so this can happen. It doesn't happen consciously. The animals aren't aware that they're evolving. You can't say, I wish I could evolve to sprout wings, and you'll sprout wings. That's not how it happens. And so you can see, I'm not the best at explaining the properties of evolution, but that's yeah. But see, that's just some of the examples that are in this book here. And another one is the guppies in this controlled experiment. You would have guppies in a sandy environment, guppies in a rocky environment. Now, if the guppies have predators, they're going to want to become the same, to look the same as their environment, to blend into camouflage from the predators. Now, they won't want to do that because, they won't be consciously, changing their genes. That's not possible. But they will, the ones that don't blend in as well will die off. And the ones that do blend in well will live, and they'll reproduce. Now, this is an experiment. I don't remember who did it. I'll cite that, somewhere in the video in the description maybe. But this experiment was done with both predators and not predators. Now, the guppies with the predators evolved to blend in with their environment over a period of a few years. And the ones that didn't have predators actually would stand out more. The males of the species would be brighter colors, and they would stand out more from their backgrounds. Why? It's because the females would be attracted to the brighter males, the males that stood out better. And so the guppies in the rocky environments would have sort of a smooth color, contrary to the rocks, and the guppies in the sandy environment would have a sort of mottled, rocky sort of look to contrast from the sandy look, and that would make them stand out more. And it was the opposite with the predators, who would look sandy if they're on sandy environments, and look rocky if they're in rocky environments. Now, this was a very interesting experiment, and it actually showed evolution in process in the lab. Now, another example of evolution in the lab would be with E. coli. That was an experiment done. I can't remember these people's names. I will cite this, but this team of this team of scientists got one bacterium, and from that bacterium they bred 12 different ones, which they separated it into 12 different flasks, so they would have 12 different colonies. Now, these colonies, they kept track of their progress. Each day they would put a sample of them in a new flask so that the colony would continue, and then they would put another sample into a freezer so they could keep track, so that they could keep, a record of what happened that day with the bacteria, the status of the bacteria on that day. Now, a lot of the bacteria didn't change for a while. What happened was minor changes. They would grow bigger so that they could metabolize more glucose. There was glucose in the solution that they were floating in, which they were meant to metabolize. But there was also citrate in the solution that that they were suspended in, and E. coli is known by its genes that it will not be able to metabolize citrate. So the whole time the E. coli were growing to metabolize more glucose, but in time, now actually, what happened was one of the colonies had a sudden change, and that change was that they were able to metabolize citrate. Now, the ones that could metabolize citrate grew rapidly because they could metabolize all the stuff, both glucose and citrate. So these E. coli were growing a lot, and you could see the difference. Now, this was recorded, and they could tell because they kept a record of each one from each day, each of the colonies from each day, and they went back and they looked to where the gene actually mutated so that they would be able to metabolize citrate. Now, they didn't notice the other mutations because those were less significant or less beneficial to the E. coli. Now, you can tell that the beneficial mutations will be apparent, and they will help it, and they will help it change, help it grow. And that's evolution. That's evolution in the lab.
Hale, you're forgetting all about Jesus.
Yes, Jesus. Now, some people like to say that evolution is all fake. That, things can't change, and that, yes, they know. Because they just know that Jesus is the answer, that God created everything in 7 days. Yeah. So if you doubt Richard Dawkins, and if you doubt his book, then you can just read the Bible.
Yeah, we need to have a picture.
That'll do it for you.
We need to Photoshop a picture of Richard Dawkins on the cross, and then have that be your intro.
No.
Yeah, and then little bubble ideas will flow out of his brain and slap
No.
the screen, and there'll be evolution.
Anyway, so if you want to learn more about evolution and the evidence for it, you can read Richard Dawkins' The Greatest Show on Earth. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying that you can, and that it's a really good book.
That was a huge advertisement.
And no, I really like Richard Dawkins, but if you don't want to have to spend your money, you can just go on the internet and go to richarddawkins.net and read his articles and look at his videos. There's a lot to learn.
Stop treating everyone like they're free.
I'm treating creationists like they're 3, Katie.
Yeah, creationists aren't going to be the ones watching this video.
Whatever. Okay, so this video is dedicated to Christ Disciple 101. Thank you for inspiring me.